Good afternoon everyone. Welcome to my kitchen. And today I'm gonna show you another great recipe from my book. This is my book that I have recipes included. This is my life story, but I included recipes in the book for my family. So I'm making Cyprus pumpkin pies, which in Greek they call them Kolokotes. So this is a full, it's not a dessert, it's just any time of the day you can have this. It's pumpkin. This is butternut squash. Back home we used to have the big pumpkins like this. We'll call them the red squash or whatever. And it's mixed with bulgur and raisins and all kinds of spices, cinnamon, salt, pepper, and sugar, olive oil, and we make a filo dough and we fill it and we bake them in the oven. So, but I'm making this tomorrow. So today I have to prepare the filling because the filling has to sit overnight in the fridge for the bulgur and all the sweet juices from this beautiful butternut squash get together and get them all nice and soft, the bulgur. So I found out the best way to cut these butternut squash, because they're hard, is cut them into slices, just like this, but maybe half an inch. And these has to be cut into little cubes. Maybe, but half an inch by half an inch, little cubes. And I slice them first in one way, and then I go back and slice them again to small little cubes. And you can also do this with grater pumpkin. You can use pumpkin also. I just choose to use butternut squash because they have a good flavor and it doesn't get really mushy when you cook it in the oven. So I'm going to have cut in little chunks like this, maybe about 3 cups out of this nice butternut squash. And I'm gonna add it to my bowl and I'm gonna come back and show you how to put it together and cover it with the plastic wrap and keep it in the fridge overnight. See you in a little bit. So there we are, friends. I have my pumpkin all cut up. And this is, we'll call them Kolokotes. We're making Kolokotes. Tomorrow morning I'm gonna make them, but I have to make this tonight. So I cut up my butternut squash to little chunks. And this is a recipe that comes for my family. And everybody in Cyprus this time of the year, November, December, they make this because they're delicious and they're so good. This family has been in my family for years and years and years. So it's savory and sweet at the same time. And it's got bulgur, raisins, salt and pepper, cinnamon, all the good stuff, olive oil. And they're really good any time of the day. You can have them for snack. You can have them with your coffee in the afternoon, or maybe with a glass of wine. So the recipe is in my book. So if you're lucky enough to have one of my books, the recipe's in there. So I make this every year. Every year around November, I make this Kolokotes, they call them, and they're pumpkin turnovers, like, we call them pumpkin pies, but they're really turnovers. And I post pictures on Facebook and everybody's like, oh my God, that sounds so good. So why don't you do the video for us so we know how it's done, and maybe we can make them. You know, my American friends, I know that all my Greek friends are making it this time of year too, but all my American friends can really enjoy this recipe also because it's easy, it's delicious, and it doesn't take a lot of time to make them. So I have my pumpkins. We're gonna add the rest of the ingredients. I have 1 cup of raisins. These are the white raisins. They call them sultanas. So 1 cup of sultana raisins, half a cup of bulgur. This is ground wheat. And 1/3 of olive oil, 1/3 of a cup of olive oil. I'm not gonna measure it because I know exactly how much I need. Okay, 1 to 2 tablespoons of sugar. All depends how sweet your pumpkin is or the butternut squash. So I'm gonna put two teaspoons of cinnamon. Cinnamon is really good with this. 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of pepper. And these are all the spices you need to start this recipe. So now I'm gonna fold them all together. I'm gonna wrap this in with a saran wrap, and I'm gonna keep it in the fridge. You can't really see the bulgur right now, but it's in there. Tomorrow morning, it's gonna be all puffed up and it's gonna look really, really nice. So there is my mix, my stuffing for my turnovers. And I'm going to wrap this with a saran wrap. And I'm gonna put them in the fridge to tomorrow morning. And tomorrow morning, we're gonna make the phyllo dough that goes on the outside of this beautiful stuffing. And I'm gonna come back tomorrow morning and show you how to make this beautiful kolokotes. See you tomorrow morning. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome back. This morning, I'm making kolokotes. So this is the Greek Cyprus pumpkin turnovers. We call them pumpkin pies, but they're really turnovers. So I started last night and I put my pumpkin. I used butternut squash. The ingredients are going to be in the description box and you can get that from there. But I used my butternut squash with bulgur, cracked wheat, and raisins and cinnamon and salt and pepper, olive oil. And today they need to be done overnight so the bulgur will get nice and soft. And this is what it looks like. It's amazing. It looks beautiful. So I'm gonna taste this and see how it tastes. If it needs a little bit more salt, I will put a little bit more salt. If it needs a little bit more pepper, I like them a little spicy, so I add a little extra pepper if it needs it. So I'm just gonna take a little piece of the pumpkin. Taste it. I think it needs a little bit more sugar because I want it nice and savory with the salt, but a little sweet. I'm gonna put another 1.5 tablespoon of sugar. And I'm gonna put another maybe 1/2 teaspoon of salt. All depends if you like it more salty or a little bit more. And maybe about 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. All your preference. This is what you want. This is the taste you're looking for. You want it to be nice and salty. You want it to be nice and sweet. And when all these flavors cook together, it's gonna be amazing. So I'm gonna taste again. I love this pumpkin, these pumpkin pies, or kolokotes as we call them. They are so good. They are one of my favorite things of fall. Perfect. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more cinnamon. I love cinnamon. Maybe 1/2 teaspoon of more cinnamon. I already put 2 teaspoons, but all the ingredients are going to be in the description box. So go there and get your ingredients and all the stuff that needs to go in here. Enough raisins, we have enough bulgur. Okay, so I'm going to put these on the side and I'm going to make the phyllo dough that's going to go in our turnovers. I'll come back. Let me clean up a little bit and get my ingredients for the phyllo dough, and So I'm ready to make my dough, and I'm gonna do it in my KitchenAid because it's so easy. Goes together in like 2 minutes, so I don't have to do all the work. I know I like to do, with my hands, but this is one of the doughs that it's easier to do in here. So I have 3 cups of bread flour. And I have 1 cup of all-purpose flour, goes in my mix. I have 1 tablespoon of sugar. It's gonna make it nice and sweet. 1 teaspoon of salt. And now we have half a cup. This is half a cup of olive oil. All right, we're gonna put this up. We're gonna mix it a little bit with the olive oil. We want the crumbles. And into this flour and olive oil mixture, which it looks almost like sand now, sandy flour and olive oil. So I have 1 cup of water and 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. That goes in the water. The vinegar makes the dough nice and fluffy and nice and crispy. So this is gonna go right in here, 1 cup. And now we're gonna mix that. Go. Doesn't need much mixing. So now I'm going to take this dough, I'm going to wrap it in this plastic wrap and let it sit for 30 minutes so it'd be easier to work with. So there is my dough, nice and soft. And now I'm going to do it shape it into a nice round ball, and I'm going to let it sit in this plastic wrap for 30 minutes, and I will come back and show you how to shape those pumpkin turnovers. So I let my dough rest for 30 minutes, and now I'm back. I'm just taking a piece of dough at a time, make it to a little roll. Then I'm gonna just make little balls out of it. So this way, I want all my kolokotes to be the same size. So I'm just making the little balls like this and put them on the side, let it rest for another maybe 10-15 minutes. Then I'm gonna start making them. I'm so excited. So I'll be back as soon as I get this dough done. I'll be back and show you. So I have all my dough rested for 10 minutes after I rolled it up to tiny little balls. So I'm gonna move this over, and I have my rolling pin here. And with this dough, you don't need flour. So you just need to roll it out with your rolling pin to maybe 1/16 of an inch. 1/6 of an inch. Let me see what this is. This is 1/6 of an inch. So I had that on, but I thought this is easier for me to do it because I have guides on this to guide you how thick you want the dough to be, your phyllo dough. So I took them off because I I like to do it my way. Let's put it that way. So I roll it up pretty thin. So, and now it's the fun part. I'm gonna put 1/3 of a cup of my mixture right over here, 1/3 of a cup, right in the middle of this beautiful round. And I'm gonna fold it over, but I'm not gonna go all the way to the ends. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. I'm not gonna go all the way to the ends because I wanna do this pretty little fold over. I don't know how you say it in English. Like you do the pie. This is what it looks like. So you fold it over and you make little folding design on top. So I'm gonna do another one. So you see how it's done. So this is maybe about 6 or 8 inches round. And this is a pretty stretchy dough, so I want it pretty thin because you get to have, I love the dough to eat it, just the dough by themselves. I love the inside too, but the dough is the best part of this. So anyway, there's my stuffing in there. Then I'm gonna fold it over, but I'm not gonna go all the way to the end because I wanna have a little to fold over to make that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful little design on top. Just like turnovers. There you go. So I have a few more to do. So I will come back and show you how to bake. So there they are. They're gonna go in the oven at 375 for 25 minutes. In the middle. There you go. 25 minutes. And I will come back and show you what they look like when they're done. They're so good. So there we are. 25 minutes at 375. They look golden brown. So nice and delicious. The house smells amazing. The cinnamon and all the spices in there is so good. So I'm just gonna arrange all of them in here for final pictures. Kids are coming over today, so they love this. So they're gonna have some too. But first, let's taste them. I'm gonna take one from the bottom because they're probably nice and cold. Cooler, anyway. So there they are. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. When I go back to Cyprus, I'm gonna get me one of these, they call them testos, I think. Mine is all worn out because I use this so much. So when I go back to Cyprus, I gotta get me one of those. So let me cut this in half so we can see what it looks like. Yum, yum. Look at this. I can't wait to taste it. So good. It brings me back home. The filo dough on the outside of this is so crispy but delicious, and the inside is smells like home. The raisins are all plumped up. So good. I'm gonna go have this with a cup of coffee. And I hope you enjoy the recipe. And please share, subscribe, and like our YouTube. So hope to see you soon. Happy fall. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.